Hello and welcome to Health, Homeopathy and Me. I'm Raquel, and today I'm going to talk to you about the direction of cure, which is the second pillar of homeopathy. My last video was the first pillar of homeopathy, and that is the law of similars. So if you haven't seen that, be sure to check it out. The direction of cure consists of 3 guiding principles that once you learn these principles, you can use them to evaluate any medication or remedy or herbal treatment, anything that you are doing for your health. And it can tell you if you are actually making your health better and your body stronger over time, or if the medication or remedy that you're taking is actually making your overall health worse and your body weaker, even though it may be ameliorating some of your symptoms. So around 200 years ago, a man named Constantine Hering, he was a German physician, and he began his career actually trying to disprove homeopathy. Instead, he became one of its most ardent practitioners, and over many years and overseeing many thousands of patients, he came up with these 3 guiding principles so that he could know if a patient was on track towards a true and lasting cure, or if they would actually be causing deeper problems and more problems for the patient later on. The first principle is better out than in, meaning that the body is always going to try to throw dis-ease. The body is always going to try to throw dis-ease and illness to the surface. It's going to try to get it out of the body, or at least up to the surface. So examples would be diarrhea, vomiting, mucus, rash, fever. I know they're not pleasant things, but they're necessary, and they are your body's response, your body's solution to the illness and to the disease. It's how your body is getting things out, getting rid of them, and solving the problem. And if we suppress these responses with over-the-counter drugs, or with herbs, or with homeopathy used improperly, we're actually hampering our body's ability to take care of the illness. And it makes it so much harder for it to complete the cure, and tends to drive the problem deeper, and it will show up later in life. Think of it this way. Your car's check engine light come on, and you go to the mechanic because you don't know anything about cars, and the mechanic takes it, comes back, tells you it's all fixed, and you drive off, and you're fine for a while. And then you end up stranded on the side of the road. Turns out the mechanic didn't actually fix your car. He didn't take care of the reason that your car you had the light come on. All he did was unscrew the light bulb and sent you on your way. And now your car has a much bigger, more expensive problem that's going to take a lot more to fix because it wasn't addressed in the beginning. And the same thing happens. It's a very similar thing that happens when you take a medication to lower your fever or to dry up your mucus. You are hampering your problem. Yes, you might feel a little bit better in the short term, but it makes your problem last longer. And because your body is getting this incomplete response, it's making it weaker and more susceptible to problems later on. All right, so the second principle is going to be that the body moves disease from above to below, or from the trunk out the extremities. An example of this that we should all be familiar with something moving in the wrong direction, would be a wound on your arm or your leg that becomes infected, and a red line begins to come from this wound, heads up your arm and towards your heart. We all know that's a really bad sign of an infection, and you need to get it checked out immediately. Another example would be a baby that has a cold that turns into an ear infection. It's moving up a little bit into the body. It's moving in deeper, closer to more vital organs. Or an adult with a sore throat and a cold that turns into a sinus infection, moving up. Or the flu that turns into bronchitis or pneumonia. All of those are signs that the body is having trouble throwing things to the surface and getting it out. And then it's kind of losing that battle, and it needs some help. Finally, the third direction of cure is actually more applicable in chronic illnesses, and you're going to see these results more commonly when you are working with a homeopath on a chronic issue rather than treating acute issues at home. And that is that once the patient has the right remedy, often old symptoms will reappear in the reverse order in which they occurred in someone's life. So I'm going to give you an example of that homeopaths see really often. And so an adult comes in with asthma, and as the homeopath is taking their history, they find out that this person had eczema as a baby that was treated with steroids that went away. Then as a child, this person developed allergies and hay fever, which was also treated with over-the-counter meds. It was treated with allergy shots, and those symptoms kind of went away. They don't really have those symptoms anymore, but now they have asthma, and that's why they're here with the homeopath, because it's really starting to encroach on their life. Do you see how this person went from an illness that was on the periphery of their body? Yes, it's very uncomfortable. Eczema is very uncomfortable and unsightly, but it isn't deep. It's on the surface. And then later in life, as a child with the hay fever and the allergies, it's something that's a little bit more bothersome, a little deeper in the body, showing a little bit more disturbance. And then as an adult, they now have a life-threatening illness, a life-threatening issue. If they have an asthma attack and they don't have a rescue inhaler, they could suffocate. It's progressed from something outside on the periphery to deep in their system near vital organs. So when the homeopath starts to treat this person and they have found their similimum, that one remedy that fits them, not just their asthma symptoms, but the whole picture of them as a person, the best. And remember, homeopathy, we have close to 5,000 remedies available right now. So it takes a lot of digging to find that one out of 5,000 that matches best. But once it's been found, the homeopath would actually expect to see, when this patient starts taking it, a little flare in the asthma perhaps that then goes away and the asthma fades into the background. And then they would hope to see some of those allergy symptoms come back, flare up for a little bit, and then fade into the background without the need for extra treatment, anything more than the remedy that they've already taken. And then a little while later, they would hope to see that eczema come up, and maybe it would come up on their chest and eventually move down to an arm and then out a little lower to the hand and then be gone and fade away, never to become again. The reason that these things come up is so that the body has a chance to kind of work through them fully, finish the process that was disrupted previously, and become stronger for it, and then be able to move on. All right. Those are the 3 principles of the direction of cure: better out than in, from above to below, and in reverse order. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how do I apply these things at home when I'm treating acute issues? What am I looking for? How do I know that a remedy isn't suppressive, or that the medication I'm going to give isn't going to make this harder on my child or myself to get better? Well, a couple of things to look for when you've given a good, well-matched remedy is actually an increase in symptoms, a slight increase in symptoms, followed by a quick amelioration or quickly feeling better. Or maybe there's no change in symptoms, but their mental state is better, right? Your brain, your mental state is as deep as it gets into your body. And when that starts to feel a little bit better, they may still have all of these symptoms, but suddenly they're not quite so irritable. They're not quite so distressed. They can rest more peacefully. That's a really good sign that your body isn't feeling overwhelmed and that it's going to be able to gain some traction very quickly. Another common thing that happens once you've given the right remedy is, say you were taking it for a gastrointestinal flu. It wouldn't be uncommon right after you take that remedy that you actually have a vomiting spell or a spell of diarrhea. Or if you had a cough, your cough would actually increase shortly, not for very long. And then that is followed very quickly by feeling much better. That was the remedy helping your body finish what it needed to do so that it could feel better, rather than suppressing it and stopping it and actually making it hard on your body. And a final example that parents might see if they're helping their kids through a viral rash, or any kind of rash really, with homeopathy. If the rash had started on the trunk and you gave them the remedy and the rash starts to appear on the arms, pay close attention, because I'll bet you that the rash on the trunk actually starts to look better and look like it's healing. And as it moves down the body, it's actually the body moving things away from the vital organs, following the direction of cure from above to below, from within out. And that you are actually on the right track with a good remedy that's going to help you complete that cure quickly. All right. So these 3 guiding principles of direction of cure really highlight a difference between orthodox medicine, which sees your symptoms as the disease, and homeopathic medicine, which sees your symptoms as a sign of a core dis-ease. Orthodox medicine will see those symptoms as something to get rid of, something that needs to be taken care of because they're uncomfortable. And homeopathic medicine, which will see those symptoms as a sign of your body's underlying weakness. And if we can address that underlying weakness and strengthen the body, we will actually allow it to turn off those symptoms, turn off that check engine light, because the underlying problem has been taken care of. All right, well, that is all I have for you about the direction of cure. That's the 2nd pillar of homeopathy. Next video, I'm going to talk about the 3rd pillar of homeopathy, which is the law of the minimum dose. So if you liked this video and you want to hear more, be sure to click the subscribe button down below. And if you've already clicked the subscribe button, be sure to click the alert button so you know when the next video comes out and you won't miss a thing. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions for future videos, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.